What is happening, everybody? I hope you all are having a happy Friday. This Friday is a happy Friday because some of y'all get a long weekend. Enjoy the extra day off to celebrate my people having freedom in this country. Now, I myself didn't get a long weekend. I took a long weekend. I took different days off, but still a long weekend nonetheless. Whilst this video goes public, I am currently skiing in Banff, Canada, so it is a very happy Friday for me. With that being said, I may be a little slow to respond to comments for the next few days, if I shall apologize in advance. Moving on from that, I am going to get into today's video topic, which is my New Year's mini trip to Steamboat. So last year I started this new tradition where I would skip the countdown for New Year's Eve and go skiing on New Year's Day. It has probably been 4 years since the last time I watched Times Square on New Year's Eve, and I say that very proudly. I have nothing against Times Square or people celebrating New Year's, I just don't care for that myself. To me it is just a change in a 4-digit number. Plus, I never get invited to any New Year's celebrations as nobody wants to hang out with an awkward weirdo like me. It is what it is. The way I see it is I found a way to turn a meaningless holiday into something good. Last year I went to Copper on New Year's Day, and the I-70 was very light getting up there, although it was a little busy coming back. This year, since I went to Steamboat, I had to leave incredibly early anyway, so any traffic there would have been, I already would have missed anyway. Unlike last year, I actually went to Steamboat for 2 days. I got a cheap hotel room on the night of the 1st into the 2nd and headed back home in the afternoon of the 2nd. This video is going to be 2 parts. The first part is going to be New Year's Day, which was prior to the powder day, and then part 2 is going to be the powder day. So I arrived at Steamboat and I ended up getting the very first gondola cabin up, which I don't think I have ever had that happen before. I usually get to the ski resorts before opening, but typically there are a few chairs or cabins that get filled before I get a chance to get on. This time I got the very first cabin. Alright, I got first gondola car, so probably should take advantage of that. I don't think I've ever had that happen before. As I exited the gondola and put my skis on, I overheard one of the resort staff announce that Morningside was opening that day. Now, if you have been watching this channel for a while, you'd know how I feel about Morningside. Or Morning Flat is what I called it in that other video.
Morningside's open. Alright, thank you. Close and full with the heavenly days, at least that's the way it looks. Yeah.
Now, one thing you may notice so far in this video is I finally switched to the helmet mount for my GoPro. This should hopefully be a better angle for you guys. Let me know down below if you like it or if I should switch back to the chesty. It does make it more annoying to ski with as I have to lean my head back now every time my seatmates want to put the bar down on the lift. And it makes tree skiing a dice roll as well.
Firm.
Anyway, after I took the gondola up, I headed over to the Storm Peak Express and did a few laps there until Morningside opened. Now, I am not typically a fan of Morningside, but skiing right after rope drop I couldn't pass up. During my laps on Morningside, the snow was great. It was mostly untracked, although over my alarm clock and wake-up call, it was a bit cruddy, but it was short-lived. The best snow was underneath the lift and in the trees right next to the lift. After a couple of laps there, I met up with a guy from the Peak Rankings community who goes by Mizzoumort. I don't know if he necessarily posts content, but if you are watching this video, Mizzoumort, feel free to shout yourself out in the comments. One thing I noticed about the Peak Rankings community versus the SRG community is they are a lot more laid back. In the SRG community, everyone seems to be an elite skier who does every cliff and straight line there is and tries to conquer the most challenging run at the resort. The people in the peak rankings community are more about having a good time, and I totally respect both of those approaches. Peak rankings also has an older community, so they see skiing as way more than just skiing the steepest runs at the fastest speeds. Anyway, that is all I'm going to say about that. Which community you belong to depends on the type of skier you are. I myself, I'm in the no man's land between all of that. I am a chill off-piste skier who will do the occasional gnar run, but I am nothing like Jacob Obermeyer or Ryzen Alpine. I had one fan tell me in my survey last fall I need to ski faster and be like them, but I just can't. I'm just not designed to do that. So, sorry.
Little low tide.
Anyway, I met up with Mizzoumort, and I did one lap with him at Morningside, and then we got stuck in a 15-minute line, so we left there. We then headed over to the Sundown and Sunshine pod and did a few laps there. The only run I actually filmed when I was skiing with him was when we did the 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock was amazing. It was the best run I did all day. It was a long mogul run that had very soft snow. It was still low tide with a lot of saplings, but there were very few rocks. And it was just an overall good run to lap. Mizzo had to take off, so I then did a few laps on my own, and then I met up with another guy from the SRG community. His YouTube channel is LongsEdits. Now looking at some of these clips, you can see what I meant from what I was talking about earlier with how the SRG community is. Longs absolutely shreds. He is almost a decade younger than me, but he skis way better than I could ever dream of. Anyway, we don't really do anything new in the Storm Peak pod, so we headed back to Sunshine Peak. We then did a run on 2 o'clock and the conditions were good, just like always. Then we went and skied Rolex in Westside. Before heading to Rolex, I had something crazy happen. The snow snagged my pole. I don't think I can recall that ever happening before during my 20 years of doing this hobby.
Oh. Thank you.
Yep.
Never had that happen before. The snow fucking grabbed my pole.
No big deal. We headed over to Rolex, and the conditions were a bit sharky. There were some hidden rocks we barely missed, and there were saplings all over the place. In more simple terms, that run needed more snow. Both of us got down just fine, and then we took the lift back up and headed over to Sunshine. After that, we then took a lap right through the Aspens right by the Sunshine lift. The upper part of it got a little sketch, but the further we went down, the better it got. Even during low tide, Steamboat tree skiing is a hit. Steamboat has the best tree skiing in the world, and anybody who says otherwise can kiss my entire fucking ass. To be honest, towards the end of that run, I fucking shredded it. This is probably my proudest skiing moment from that day. After that, we ended up doing a run off of Westside, which is Rolex's neighbor. Now Westside did have better coverage than Rolex, but to be honest it wasn't as fun as Rolex, as it was less moguly and it was a lot shorter. After that run, Steamboat kicked us out of that area and we had no choice but to take Elkhead Express back up. We were about done for the day anyway, so it all worked out. After we rode the Elkhead up, we then took our last run all the way back down to the Steamboat base, skiing Heavenly. We were hearing they were metering Heavenly because it was so icy, but they weren't when we did it. To be 100% honest, out of all the icy runs I have skied this season, Heavenly was not bad at all. It was crowded for sure, and that made it sketch, but in terms of the run being icy, it was not bad. Like, it was about as icy as Mozart at Keystone typically gets during a normal snow year. Which Mozart I never really found to be that icy. I haven't been to Keystone this season, so I don't know what the state of Mozart is currently. If any of you guys have skied that run this season, let me know down below. Anyway, we skied down Heavenly, and we called it a day. That was a very good ski day, despite the undesirable conditions this season, and I was excited to see how things improved after the snow fell that night. Now stay tuned for part 2. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I will release a part 2 to this in the next week. Discord link in the description. Please leave your feedback down below, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.